In this video, we're going to continue to maintain good file management, and we're also going to talk about a new topic called subtractive solid modeling. So the first thing we're going to do is open up File Explorer. Again, this is specifically for Mr. West class. Your teacher may tell you something else to do, but if you have Mr. West, you are going to follow along. So the first thing I'll do is click on this PC. Go to the V drive. Again, I know mine says U, but you're going to the V. Click on my name, D West, period 1, student folders, and find your name. Click into your folder, and then into your Inventor folder. So again, my file path's up here if I lost you, but this should be a V. And we have one folder for our practice, another folder for additive, and we're going to do this one. So I'm going to click on new folder, 2_subtractive solid modeling. Click off of it, and then now our project will get saved into there. Go ahead and navigate back into Inventor. This is the one we did in the last project. So I'm going to do a File New, because I want to do a new part. So File New, I need English, and I want a standard inch IPT, and I'm going to hit Create. As soon as I create a new part file, the first thing I should do is a Save As into the new folder I just made to maintain good file management. So I did a File, Save As, and now I'm going to navigate to the V drive, D West, the period, student folders, find your name, into your Inventor folder, and then into the new folder that you just made. So I'm going to double click into that. So now I'm in the subtractive folder, and I'm going to give it the proper name. Subtractive solid modeling. And then I'm going to hit save. So again, that was all a repeat of what we've always been doing to maintain good file management. Let's go into subtractive. So subtractive can be viewed as the remainder of a solid block. So I want you to imagine as if you have a solid block of material, and then you remove material from that block to get a finished product. That's pretty much what we're trying to do. If you think about that in a real world scenario, you might start with like a solid, let's say, piece of wood, and then you may drill away or mill away or grind or turn the object using different chisels to remove material or subtract material to get a final product. Let's give you a visual to show you what that looks like. So here we're starting with a solid model, and then we subtract this L shape, like you see here, to get to here. Then we go from that one, which is right here, and we subtract a cube on the top right corner to get to our final product. So again, we're starting with a solid block, and we're removing material along the way to get to a final product. That is the subtractive method. So let's go ahead and do this in Inventor. So this is the object we're going to create, but it's going to start out as this solid object. So in order to do that, we need to create a rectangle that is 2.25 in width by 1.5 in height, and then extrude it 1.5 inches. So we're going to perform those same techniques that we've always been doing so far. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new 2D sketch in my subtractive modeling file or project. We always start with the front view, which is the XY plane, so I'm going to left click that. I know I'm in the front view because of the view cube. And now I'm going to use that rectangle tool again, and we always start out at 0, 0. So there's my 0, 0, so I'm going to left click once, let go, move my mouse, and if you remember, the width of that rectangle was 2.25, and then I'm going to press tab on the keyboard to switch to the height dimension. So tab, and I'm going to go 1.5, enter, Now the problem is it went off the screen, so I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel out. I'm going to pan by left clicking the mouse wheel and holding it down and moving my mouse. I'm going to kind of zoom back in to kind of get that full screen. I want to get out of the rectangle tool because I'm done drawing rectangles. So I'm going to hit escape on the keyboard. And you'll notice that we have a fully constrained sketch because we constrained it to the 0, 0, and I added in the 2 size dimensions to get it fully purple. Again, I see the pin, it says fully constrained, and it's purple, so I can hit finish sketch. As soon as I do that, it goes to isometric. I'm going to zoom out, or I could do a zoom all by double clicking the mouse wheel. And I now have my 2D sketch. Remember, we work left to right, so the next thing we're going to do is extrude in this scenario. And the extrusion was 1.5. So we're going to extrude that 1.5 inches. And then hit enter on the keyboard or click OK. Double click the mouse wheel to do a zoom all. And now we have our solid block of material. The next thing we need to do is remove this L shape. So in order to do that, we need to draw that sketch on this front face of our solid block of material. And then we're going to do something called an extrude cut. So let's go ahead and do that. And in order to do that, we need to create a sketch that traces this outline right here, and it's 0.75 by 0.75 there. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on Start 2D Sketch right here, and I want to draw it on this face. So I'm going to click on that front face of that material, and it moves me to the front view, but I need to pan, left click, hold the mouse wheel down and move your mouse. And then I need to draw the shape. So what I'm going to do is simply, how do I want to do this? Alright, just follow along with me. I'm going to go line tool. I'm going to start actually on this corner of the material up here. Notice the dot went green. That's because I'm going to snap to that corner of the rectangle. You want to see a green dot. So left click once and let go. Move your mouse straight across and go snap to this point. So you should see another green dot. Go straight down. Snap to this corner. So you should see another green dot. And left click and let go. Move your mouse. Now this part's going to be a guesstimate. So just hover along, but make sure you're drawing along this x-axis or this bottom edge of the rectangle. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be like this. You want to be perfectly aligned. So I'm going to left click anywhere I want. Don't worry about this right now. Don't worry about the measurement. Just left click somewhere. I'm going to go, now I have to left click again on that dot because it's starting a new line. So I'm going to left click again one more time right there, and this time I'm going to go straight up. You got to make sure that you're at 90 degrees and that you see that perpendicular sign. Don't worry about the measurement right now. Just go up, left click somewhere, go straight across. Make sure you see the perpendicular sign in the 90 degrees. This time snap to the vertical y-axis or that left edge of the rectangle. Left click, let go. Move your mouse, come back up, and close it off by clicking this green dot up here, which is where we started. And then I'm going to hit escape to get out of the line tool so I no longer am drawing. So right now I have almost the shape perfect, but the problem is that this dimension and this dimension are missing. Notice it says 2 dimensions needed, and I have 2 green lines. So I need to dimension those. And if you remember, that was 0.75 by 0.75, that cube right there. So those are the dimensions that I'm going to add to those 2 lines. So I'm going to go Dimension, click on this line, left click once and move my mouse up, left click again, and I'm going to type in 0.75 and hit Enter. Notice that this is now constrained and it says only 1 more dimension is needed. So now I'm going to add a dimension right here. So I'm still in the dimension tool, so I'm going to left click once on this line, move my mouse over, left click again, and type in 0.75, enter. I am fully constrained, fully purple, pins on the sketch there, I'm good to go. So I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. So that is the part that I want to subtract away from the material. Now in order to do this, we need to again perform an extrude, but this time we're going to switch to something called a cut, and we're going to go back 0.75. So I'm going to go extrude, click on this face that we just drew, but the problem is that it's extruding out. I don't want to do that. There's an option right here, so there's a join, there's a cut, and then there's something called an intersect. We want to choose the cut option. So I'm going to go cut, but the problem is the distance is wrong. If I do that, I'm just going to be left with a cube. So I only want it to go 0.75. And you kind of see a preview of what you're about to do. So again, we're subtracting away that material. I'm going to say OK, and I've now created that part of the shape. So what's next? The next part is to cut out a 0.75 by 0.75 cube in this top right corner of this face. So we're going to create a sketch, use our rectangle tool, 0.75 by 0.75, and then we're going to extrude cut back 0.75. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, start 2D sketch. I want to sketch on this face because I'm trying to cut away from this object. So I'm going to click on this face. I'm going to pan over, left click, hold the mouse wheel down and move your mouse. And then I'm going to use the rectangle tool to snap to the top right corner right there. Left click once, move your mouse, 0.75, tab on the keyboard, 0.75 again, and hit enter on the keyboard. Hit escape to get out of the rectangle tool, and I've now drawn that 0.75 by 0.75 cube on the top right corner, and it's fully constrained, all purple, so I can hit finish sketch. What I need to do now is extrude cut that away, so I need to subtract it. So I'm going to go to extrude. I don't want to join, I want to cut, so I'm going to click the cut button. And yes, the distance is 0.75. I'm going to say OK. And I am now left with the same exact model that we did before, but I used a subtractive method. I started out with a solid model and slowly subtracted different parts away to get to my final product. So that was the subtractive method. Oh, last thing, go hit save. And finally, screen clip this in if you're in Mr. West class into your OneNote binder so that way I could see it. Make sure that I can see this portion and the model. Okay. The other thing you can also take a look at again is the different extrusions you did just by hovering over them, the sketches that you made. And again, you could always go back in and change something if you find a mistake. And it'll automatically update the rest of the model. So that's a really good feature of the model browser. And that's it.